Hello guys and welcome to my third episode of my CSS playlist. And here we go, I got index 3 ready here. I'm gonna make an exclamation mark, press tab, and this is gonna be episode 3. There we go. Then I already made style tree to the styles folder. I'm gonna link it here and we can get going on with this lesson. So there we go. In this lesson I'm going to be explaining CSS selectors and what they are and what they mean and what they do. So basically there are 5 different types of CSS selectors that you can use to find HTML elements that you want to style from your HTML file. So the first one is the simple selectors. This is the element's name. For example, I'm gonna make an H1 heading. I'm gonna also open this on to the right over here, and let's say CSS selectors hashtag 3 episode 3. So I can go to the here CSS file and select my element H1, and this is the simple selector. I showed this in the previous episode. Let's make the color blue, and I'm gonna use HSL values. I'm also going to explain why I'm using HSL values in a couple of episodes, but yeah, so this is one of the ways to select one of these. And by the way, something I didn't remember to say in the previous episode is this. This one is called a selector. Then this one is called a this is a property, and this is a value. So we are getting the property color and setting the value to be this color. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. And this whole snippet is a declaration. And this entire code part or snippet is the CSS syntax. So yeah, selector, property value, property value pair, and CSS selector. There we go. And this way is called the CSS element selector. So I'm gonna type it here. This is a, and there we go, just like magic, it appeared. CSS element selector. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Let's go back to the index file. Second, we have combinator selectors. Now, what does that mean? That basically means a space, a less than, I mean a larger than, a plus, and then one of the tildes. So yeah, space, greater than, plus, and tilde. Those are combinator selectors. I'm gonna go through them in a separate episode because they are going to be requiring a little bit more knowledge. Anyways, now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna show you the second way. I showed this one as well in the previous episode, but I'm gonna show you how to select if we have, for example, 2 H1s here. Hello everyone. Let's type in. So right now the same styles are being added to each one of these. However, if I wanted to make this one stay the same color and this one red, I can do it with an ID. ID my H1, and then IDs are selected by a hashtag. My H1, and then color, let's say red. There we go. And that's a way to style the same HTML element with different styles. Then you can use classes. So you can change the ID to be a class and the hashtag to be a dot. So dot is a class, hashtag is an ID selector, and the same styles and basically the same thing happens. So there's not really any difference between these. Alright, so now you know that. I'm gonna comment out this. So there we go. Basically it's written in. So these lines are the same and I'm gonna add the asterisk and the forward slash. So this is a comment. We already learned comments in the previous episode. So yeah, these codes do the same thing as long as this element has the class and ID of my h1. Currently it only has the class but not the ID, so I'm using the dot instead of the hashtag. But if I wanted, I could use the hashtag and add an ID. They would do the same thing, like I showed you. Now I'm gonna show you how to select multiple elements at the same time. Let's go to the index file. Let's say we have a paragraph that says, "Hello, hope you are doing well." And then we are going to have a H2 heading and how to group elements. And let's add one more. What could it be? Let's say I'm going to say add well, actually I don't have to add anything. I can just go and use the body element as one of the selectors. So let's go over here. So right now I'm gonna apply specific styles to the body element, h2 element and the paragraph. So I'm gonna select body, then I'm gonna type in a comma, then h2, comma, actually it's a paragraph, then comma and h2, and then curly brackets. And remember, this will add some default styles. So color, colon, green. And now as you guys can see, these two items right over here, they are selected over here and they got the green color. However, these ones are selected by classes and this one is a whole nother element. So they will stay as they were. However, if I select H1 again, it is going to get overridden. So the blue color doesn't matter anymore because down here we are redeclaring this color to be green. So the blue color up here does not matter anymore. So yeah, basically that's how you can select multiple elements at once. That's pretty useful to know if you want to add some default styles, for example, or something like that. Okay, then I'm gonna talk about the universal CSS selector, which I also showed in the previous episode, but I wanna go in order, and this is gonna be about selectors, so let's do a little recap. So the selector, the universal selector, that's an asterisk. And then we use curly brackets and we can type in whatever we want. For example, if I want to add a border to every single element on the page, the HTML page, I can type in border, let's say 2 pixels, solid and yellow. Actually that doesn't show too good. Let's say pink. And let's make the border 4 pixels thick. As you guys can see, every single element on the page now has a border. I'm gonna explain the layout. First, the outside border is for the body. That's the body element. Then, this one right here, I'm sorry, the outside element is the HTML element, then there's the body element, and then inside of the body element we have the H1, H2, paragraph, and another H2 element. So yeah, and by the way, this is an H1 element, but you get the point. Alright, and all these are styled also so that they will have a box or a border. So they have a border of 4 pixels solid with the color of pink. So yeah, that's how the element styling works. Now I can also say that I want padding. Padding means space outside of an element to be 0 pixels. No noticeable change. But if I set the margin to be 0, there's a big change. Not all, but most of the HTML elements, they have some automatic margin, which is space around outside of an element. They have some margin automatically added into them. So by setting the global universal selector and margin to 0 pixels, none of these elements will have any margin or space outside of the element by default. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, now you know the universal selector. Also, I want to show you what this is a shortcut for. So this is a shortcut for writing this: body color green, P color green, H2 color green. So yeah, this is, this one line, oh whoops, here, there we go. So this 3 lines of code does the same as 9 lines of code. They do the same thing. So yeah, nothing will change. As you guys can see, if I remove or the comment. Anyways, however, if I change the color, for example, of the body, well, the body color can't be changed. It's just there as an example. However, if I change the color of the H2 element down here, it will use that color instead, because CSS always uses the color that is the last declared. So I have the color declared here, but this one is more specific. So CSS will always use specificity when selecting property value pairs. So yeah, H2 is a more specific selector than this collection of elements over here. So that's why this is happening. That's why this is yellow. Anyways, I hope you guys found some new useful things from this episode, and I hope I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. And there we are going to do some more examples. And yeah, happy learning everybody, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.